Yeah, here we are again. Here we are again. Astronomy Daily Live. It is just before 2 hours UTC. I'd like to jump on here a few seconds early, uh, just to, just to offer a little level of surprise. You never quite know when this is going to start, but it's always going to start a little bit early, just a little bit. Yeah, see, it's 2 hours UTC now. Hey, 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 everybody, gather around. I'm gonna get myself all set up here with sort of the usual hoo-ha that has to happen. So I'm gonna pull up my chat over on my Linux machine. I'm running Fedora 24. Got to update that. Got to update that. I've been meaning to update that for a little while now and haven't gotten around to it yet. Hopefully the audio is okay. OMC Triple X in the house. Hey, Uncle Bill. Thanks for everything. Appreciate all the support. A little song and dance here. And life is pretty interesting. OMC Triple X for sure. Go there. I want to go there. Whoops. I want to go there. 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 Okay, so then I can see myself live on my smartphone. All right, awesome. Looks like all is a running. Yay. Yay. Also, hope everybody's doing well today. For those of you in the future, greetings from the past. It was fun. Hope you're still there. Maybe I'm somewhere in there. Yeah, this is coming off tomorrow, so it's got to go. Seen it's seen it's seeing its final hours. Yeah, seeing its final hours. So what's happening? Everybody's all excited about this full moon event. Um, they're they're calling it a blue moon, blood moon, super moon, and I don't have any problem with a blue moon. Not really. I mean, you know, technically speaking, it's not blue, but I get it. I get it. And blood moon, yeah, that's okay too. That's all right. That's all right. Problem I've got is this idea of a super moon. It's um, mm, I guess it's good PR, but you know, uh, I like to call it a perigee moon. I think that's a pretty cool uh, name. I'm gonna mess with the focus just for a second. Just for a second. That's maybe a little better. Definitely got to work on this video a little better. See, the thing is that this video camera is uh, uh, practically complete junk. I'm amazed that it works as well as it does. Okay, but the reason why I have to use that is because see in this bag, I'm gonna try to open it. In this bag is a Logitech. I think it's a Logitech C525 that I have converted to a thing that you can here, thing that you can put onto the end of a telescope. You can see the sensor down there and see things. And I was really tempted tonight to give you guys a surprise and do a star party instead. But the moon is so close to full that it's not ideal. So maybe I'll surprise you in a few weeks, a couple weeks, uh, with some moonshots. We'll just do an outdoor thing, and we can just do the moon video and talk about the moon uh, um, for an hour or so. But anyway, so that's that's what happens when you let an astronomer get hold of a webcam. Immediately converts it into a into an optical device that can collect photons efficiently. So this is actually I'm hoping to use this as a scientific device that I can fully calibrate and use for photometric, either time scale measurements. You know, this can run 30 frames a second, so theoretically I could do specular interferometry, which is a technique of high resolution imaging that would actually work probably pretty darn well. You could separate some really, really close binaries, uh, which you normally wouldn't be able to because the seeing is so bad. Specular interferometry actually uses um, bad seeing to its advantage. It's actually better if the seeing is bad, uh, because then you have more speckles to grab onto. It's really, really cool stuff. All the tricks that you can do. Anyway, I would like to use this as a scientific instrument, and see what happens with that. Anyway, so that's why I don't have a good webcam on here because I use it for scientific research. So I can't help it. I'm gonna put you down just for a sec. I'm gonna read all the comments here. Hold on. OMCXXX always has fabulous questions. So while the reflected light that allows us to view the moon seems dim to plants and bright to us humans, how do you attribute its inability to negatively affect photoperiod plants? Reflected light that allows us to view the moon seems dim to plants. View the moon seems dim to bright to us. I don't. If you're talking about reflected moonlight, I'm not quite sure that reflected moonlight would look dim to plants. I mean, it's definitely dimmer out, right? Because it's usually the moon is at least most visible during the night. Um, so I during the night when it illuminates more than a few candles of light, but a single candle of light adversely affect the plants. Does it have anything to do with the infrared spectrum the plants receive? As far as I know, OMC triple X, and this would be well. Maybe this can put you on a path, at least. I am pretty sure that when you look at the spectrum of the moon, uh, you you primarily see the spectrum of the sun. So it's yeah, the moon is very, very dark, but it's I guess I would call it more like an attenuation. So it dims over the entire spectral range, um, but does it in sort of an equal way. Now the moon is going to, of course, be absorbing a little bit of that, and that's why we can see the light and dark patches because there are differences, right? Uh, uh, but yeah, I think the moon's spectrum is pretty much the same as the sun's, just not as intense, but it's a pretty good mirror. It's a pretty good reflector. Don't think that it loses a lot. Um, Not quite sure about the infrared signature because the moon is being heated on the sunlit side. I guess I wouldn't have any problem uh, that maybe in the thermal infrared, um, some actual heat. Um, pretty sure that the moon glows in the radio. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. I think that sounds wrong. Don't remember. Okay, yeah, yeah. That's the uh, what light um, gets through the atmosphere. Yeah, does depend on the position of the light. Uh, True, very very true. Yep, correct, correct. Yeah, but I don't know if I mean, having if you have period plants, who are sensitive to uh, you know any kind of light at all, then definitely moonlight and the changing moonlight, I would think, would have an effect on that. Yeah. All right. Thanks. At least we got started. All right. Very cool. Very very cool. What else? Oh, well, I have to report on my drink of choice tonight. Again, once again, I'm going with the hydrogen hydroxide. It's just I find it very calming and quite tasty and quite a contrast to hydrogen oxide. It's The hydrogen oxide is just a little rough sometimes, so I like to go with the hydrogen hydroxide. Huh, interesting. I uh, I appreciate the fact that we can we almost continuously have to learn things and are learning things. Bucky Fuller uh, once said that you could never learn less, you can only learn more. And I would add sort of an addendum onto that and say, well, you can forget, but that's not the same as learning less. There's just no way to learn less. Can't can't be done. Can't be done. So yeah, it's I think we're going to continue to find out some pretty amazing amazing things in general. And you know, our perceptions change, and that makes us view things in a different way, and that's that's how it goes. Changes. So, and that's what makes everything pretty interesting. So, all right. Well, if you don't know already, you all have landed on a live stream show that's called Astronomy Daily Live. It starts at least every day at 2 hours UTC, and you're gonna have to figure out what time that is for your location. Here I'm in southeastern Arizona in the United States, and we are always on Mountain Standard Time, which is 7 hours behind Universal Time. So uh, it's currently 2:15 UTC on the 30th of January. But however, at my location, it is 7:15 p.m. on the 29th of January. So time is a really important thing to be able to grasp, and uh, be able to sort of throw around in your head. If you're going to be into astronomy, you have to have a pretty good understanding of time, and that takes some practice. So uh, uh, part of the reason, at least, why I only post a single time and not a list of different zones well, at first I would feel obligated to list them all, which is uh, not necessary. In truth, there is only one time, and that's right now. Um, but it's also, it's sort of a way. It's sort of a little obstacle that you have to get over in order to sort of enter, the circle of friends, and that's what this is all about. This is all about, getting together every single day. Um, Turn off the TV, turn off the news, um, turn off almost everything except turn on your head, to this amazing, very, very broad based science that's called astronomy. I mean, it literally is the study of everything. And, to call yourself an astronomer, uh, you've got to be, you've got to have your fingers in lots and lots and lots of things. Now, just like everything else, there are specialties. So a theoretical um, person may not ever go up to a telescope or even have any interest in going up to a telescope. Wouldn't necessarily call them an astronomer. I'd call them, you know, like a theoretical astronomer or something like that. So, but yeah, astronomy is a very, very broad-based science. We've got our fingers in everything from the subatomic to the universal, and that's why I liked it. I mean, when I was a kid, it was like, okay, what I'm sort of interested in everything. So you know, which which way do I go? To do that, and it's like, oh, it's astronomy. It's a study of everything. I like it. Like it. There are more ways. Yeah. The OMC Triple X. The thing that I uh, uh, learned was how to learn. If if you know how to learn, then uh, there really isn't the kind of struggle to memorize things and all of that. It's just a process, and it becomes a part of you. And so learning how to learn, then you can pretty much do anything you want. Okay, if now is the only time, was a moment ago a figment of your imagination? And da, 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 da. Well, that's that's an interesting question for sure. It it seems to me that it's something like a figment of imagination. Um, yeah, because you can only picture it in your imagination at that point. Um, typically, typically called like a memory. Uh, but yeah, I think it's something like a figment of imagination. Yeah, yeah. It would you could do science to examine that a little bit more, for sure. You could set up, you know, make some observations, maybe find some patterns, and then come up with some ideas about why you're seeing those patterns. Test them out, compare them to what you're seeing, and just go around and around and around. Might be interesting. Yeah, yeah. I was saying last night, Uncle Bill, that I never got the aperture fever. Oh, I've also got some coffee here. I can't really do it with one hand, but this mug is those nice thick mugs. Yeah. So I've dropped this a few times, and here it's not quite as big as my head. Dropped this a few times, no problem at all. Definitely don't want to drop them, but cheers. Yeah. So I never got the aperture fever because I've had the opportunity to play with the big toys and work at several of the major observatories, at least down here in southern Arizona. Um, I can let's see, on a good day. Is this true? Yeah, maybe not from one place, but anyway, I'm surrounded. I've got Kitt Peak. I have um, Mount Hopkins. There are um, there's Mount Lemmon, um, 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 Mount Bigelow. That's sort of the same range, and there's Mount Graham, and I'm closest to Mount Graham. I see Mount Graham and the big white large binocular telescope up there all the time. It's a big white eyesore, but it's completely awesome. You can, if you look in the background here, I'll sort of take this up. That was the first of the 8.4 meter mirrors that were spun cast down at the University of Arizona, and yeah, that's 8.4 meters from there to there, and there's a bunch of people in the back. It's probably hard to see. There's a bunch of people in the back here, and I think I'm right about there. I can't see it very well either. Um, so yeah, yeah, I had the opportunity and the honor to have a small a small hand uh, in in the testing of this mirror. So that was pretty awesome. So yeah, when you get to work with 8.4 meter mirrors, um, uh, you don't really get aperture fever. So Yeah, the picture looks like a birthday cake on a table. Yeah, yeah. Actually, this is the bottom of what's called a spinning oven. It's this huge circular thing, and this is like the top floor. There's a bottom floor underneath this. It has all the electronics and all the gizmos and everything else. This is just the top, and this whole thing, um, they uh, um, put an enclosure here, so it's an oven. They put the glass inside and they place it carefully inside. They turn on the oven. They let the glass melt until it's like water. It's like slosh, right? And then they start to spin this, and they spin it at a certain rate, such that the um, the mirror itself becomes concave, a sphere, a spherical surface. And then they spend, well, then they slowly cool it down, so it forms a solid. And I won't get into the details here, but maybe a couple more years of polishing, the shape that it needs to be. Um, it's like a salad bowl. It's really, really, really deep, and yeah, very, very cool. Honored to have been able to work. So what happens is that you just don't get the aperture fever at all. I don't know how I got into that, but yeah, yeah, I actually have a friend who worked on that mercury mirror. It could only see what was exactly straight up, but because of the rotation of the Earth, um, you could actually do. I mean, it was pretty amazing um, um, what they're able to do with that. But yeah, that's a hard that's a hard engineering problem because you know there are residences and there are just walking across the floor can mess it up. So yeah, that's really really hard, but pretty interesting though. Yeah, I don't think it's going to work all that well. Hey there, Paranord 001. Nice to see you. Glad you could stop in. Focus adjustable. Huh. Yeah. Maybe do you think they might dairy mirror of some sort instead, or just change it? Oh, okay. Huh. I would think changing the RPM would change like the focal length, right? You would change effectively like the magnification. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Very, very cool. Yeah, I had a friend who was working on that. Was that it wasn't like the Naval Observatory, that was something else. I don't remember now. Don't remember. All right, I'm gonna keep going with my little spiel here. See if there's anything interesting that I can add to this. Oh, big shout out to Music from the Hearts of Space. If you haven't heard of this this show, check it out. HOS.com. Um, it's an hour long of what's normally like space music, ambient, really 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 nice nice stuff. So if you haven't heard of Music from the Hearts of Space, um, especially if you're into astronomy, this might be a show for you. Um, I I discovered it. Wow, I think in the mid '80s. I think it had just gone nationwide, um, and yeah, when I heard that, it was like, oh, this is absolutely fabulous. And I remember many nights sitting in the dark in a ice cold, watching photons, um, and from the hearts of space playing in the background in the dome. It was awesome. It's absolutely epic. Yeah, that was great fun. It was great fun. Anyway, big shout out that out. They have a free weekly show every Sunday. You can play the show for free on Sundays. Um, you can also get subscriptions. Play all the songs in their collection, and they have thousands and thousands of songs. Um, or yeah, I think you can subscribe at different levels, and this really isn't a commercial for them. Just blurting out some info. If you haven't heard of Music from the Hearts of Space, I greatly encourage you to give a listen. They do usually do an excellent job. Once in a while, there's some pretty terrible shows, um, but that's pretty rare. This past week was percussion, so there were a lot of gongs and bells, uh, which are always, as far as I'm concerned, absolutely fabulous. To put the headphones on and just close your eyes and let the sound just take. I like it. I like it. Oh, but anyway, yeah, uh, the excitement with the moon in a couple of days. So that's yeah, it's really nice to have a coincidence. But yeah, I actually didn't finish my thought on that, or maybe I did. I don't really like the term uh, supermoon. It's maybe that's a little bit more understandable for PR, but I really like perigee moon. That sort of just nails it down uh, really well. So, and that's not too hard. I don't think that's too hard to say, too hard to think about. The problem I have is that this I'm not gonna I wouldn't say that this is a perigee moon. And what I want to do, I wonder if I can remember. I'm going to share my screen here because I didn't share my screen last night at all. That is so so unfair and so cruel that you have to stare at this big ugly head for a whole hour. So I greatly apologize for that because man, who wants that? Who wants that? So what I want is I don't remember the site, so I'm just going to do a quick Google search here. Apogee perigee calculator, I think is what it is. And it's sort of a calculator. Yeah, Formulab. And if you look at the perigee that is coming up, it's coming up on. It's actually coming up on the 30th of January, which in terms of universal time is today. It's actually the perigee is happening at 9:55 UTC. So that's just in let's see, it's 2:34 now. So yeah, like what 7ish hours or so. But look, it's 1 day 3 hours behind full moon. Does that make it a supermoon or a perigee moon? I don't think so. See, the one on January 1st at 21:56, I was 4 hours behind full. That's a perigee moon. Okay. This thing about 1 day, 3 hours behind the full moon, I'm calling that just a regular old boring moon. Nothing exciting about that at all. Yeah. Anyway, this is a cool site. You know, it shows all the apogees and the perigees. Perigee, of course, is the point in the orbit of the moon as it goes around the Earth that it's at its closest, and the apogee is just the opposite of that. It's where it's furthest away. But if you look at the oh, and you know, I found out that I can zoom in. Look at that. If you look at the numbers here, you can see that. So here's 356, and it gets bigger, 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 smaller, 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 bigger, 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 smaller, smaller. So you know these are perigees, which have to do with the monthly sort of motion of the moon. But even the distance, the closest distance each time around has a cycle. And so does the apogee over here too, right? It goes 406 and lower, lower, a little bit lower, a little bit more, 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 more. So yeah, there are cycles everywhere, everywhere, and those are nice things for astronomers to grab onto. So yeah, I sort of like that zoom function there. Just discovered that today. I was I've got a kitty on the lap here, so until he decides to settle down, there's going to be some roughness with this mic. I've been going through archive.org today, just sort of seeing if there's anything interesting over on the bleeding edge of research. Worldwide telescope, seamless cross-platform data visualization. Wow, it's amazing. There's so much data uh, that is online now. You really, I mean, you don't need a telescope anymore, and it's just going to get more and more. Let's see if there's anything interesting here. They're all great, because they're all most of them at least are pretty darn interesting and free. What I do, what I usually do, when I hear some kind of astronomical news item, uh, you know, it's it's usually a link to some kind of a news article, and so I'll go to the news article and I will skim it for the author's names, or like a title to a paper. Won't really even read the news article, but I'll try to find the original paper over here at archive.org. I find it to be a great resource. And yeah, it's a blue moon too. It's and the real rare set of circumstances that I'm excited about with all this moon stuff um, is that uh, there are two full moons in January, no full moons in February, and two more fulls in March. That is nice and rare. That is nice and rare. And I can believe that my mic is crackling. I will attempt the impossible and keep it from crackling. Hopefully that's not gonna kill ya. Kill ya. Okay, we still here? We still good? I hope so. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, we're still here. Let me go. I don't know what that is. Oh, that's the little magnifier. Okay, don't need that anymore. Let's go here, and we'll stop sharing so we get back on here. Yeah, yeah. I dug this mic out of the closet and just to get some slightly better sound, and realized no mic stand. I call myself a musician too, and I don't have a mic stand. so, so yeah, there are many things to make a few improvements. I'm hoping that the content is at least moderately interesting and acceptable, and sort of covers up all the other slight slight flaws in terms of quality of the video and crackling in the mic. So yeah, yeah. Well, duct tape. Yeah, I could do something with that. All right. Well, cool. What's we've got a pretty good circle here. What else is interesting going on in the astronomy world? Yeah, actually, it's probably this adapter. I've got to go from XLR. This is an XLR to quarter inch, and then this is a quarter inch to eighth inch. Isn't that just like totally awful? But yeah, I figure it can only get better. So don't sweat it. Yeah, yeah. I definitely want to get some kind of mic stand, because hold, holding it is okay, but yeah, yeah. Uncle Bill, not quite sure about that. The only thing that I can maybe try to do, and I appreciate the technical assistance. I can lower my bandwidth a little bit and see if that makes any kind of an improvement. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Don't know. Yeah. Well, this internet is in its infancy. It's we've got a long way to go, and uh, that also can only get better. So, yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah, wrist doesn't get too hung up. I switch between them, so no no real worries. All right, cheers. Yeah, I think Uncle Bill. That's almost exactly when the kitty decided to jump up into my lap, and he was just going insane here. So hopefully that has ended for at least the moment. So I've uh, I've got a couple more books to show off. This one I've I've had for a long time. Haven't built it yet. but I just like it because I really like the title. You ever seen that one? So this is a complete plans to build yourself a photometer, a digital photometer, again, that goes onto your scope, and you can do some cool science with just a photometer. Yeah, yeah, I like the title. Yeah, that's my favorite part. Anyway, this is what does that say? Jeffrey Hopkins. Don't know if he's around still. I assume he is. I'm, I want to look inside and see when this was published. 1990. 1990. So that's geez, that's like almost 30 years ago. Yeah. So he's probably still around. Probably still around. I would think so. Anyway, yeah, if you're into those kinds of things, here, let me I'm going to put this mic down and just show a few things on the inside. But if you're into, like electronics, this is for you. Well, that's about all of that. Interesting book, really cool. Look for it. Hey there, Tom. Hope everything is going well for you. Saw a story this week about Europa's surface being less dense than freshly fallen snow. Might be a problem for a lander. Yeah, I saw something about that too, and yeah, I that's something I probably definitely want to look into a little bit more. As I've said a number of times, usually when I hear a story or something, I go over to archive.org and I try to find the actual paper, the journal um, article, put out by the people who are doing the work, and haven't looked at that one yet. It's probably out there, I would think. I'm curious to know how they come to that conclusion, because that requires uh, knowing something about the material and also having an idea of its structure, its density, um, and how that would be. I mean, most likely those kinds of things are inferred. So it's sort of like, okay, well, if we see this, and this, then that sort of implies this. And um, inferences like that, those sometimes can be pretty sketchy. So yeah, hard to tell, but Yeah, I did hear about that. I think, yeah. What do you think? What do you think? Um, definitely, definitely. If you've got several feet of fluff, um, you're gonna have some trouble. Yeah. Wow. Just like micro powder. Cool. Cool. Maybe that's something I should look up because yeah, it's just it's just amazing to be like almost completely always mind blown with this stuff. It's just it all of it is so awesome. I'm gonna make a note to check out things coming out of the Planetary Science Institute. Yeah, yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, yeah. Well, you can just you can never be sure uh, until you're sort of there, and can stick your fingers down in it. So yeah, yeah, that's a concern. Definitely, definitely. I think I would think that something like radar, um, where you sort of get uh, a feeling of sort of the porousness of the ground by the characteristics of the reflection of the radar reflection. Um, yeah, yeah. I guess you could do it seismically too. I don't uh, I don't know how well equipped the uh, the rovers are in terms of seismology. I want to I want to say that Spirit is probably pretty insensitive to seismic events. Um, the uh, uh, the other one though, I always forget the name of that one. It's it's the big one. Help me out. Uh, Mars Science Lander, but didn't have a special name. I don't remember these things. I don't keep that kind of info in my head all the time. Curiosity. Yeah, yeah. Thanks. Yeah. Does that have any kind of seismic stuff on it? I don't know. I don't think so. Hmm. When you mean, or when you say hit our celestial neighbors, what exactly do you mean? Yeah, I don't recall either if there's any kind of seismic stuff on Curiosity. It's one of the things that I haven't shown on this channel yet. Is all the images that come from Curiosity. I haven't been over there in a long time. If you don't mind, let's go over to the website and look at some pictures from the ground. I really, really, really enjoy the high rise images from orbit. Curiosity rover. Share my screen. Yep, we're gonna go to infinity. And I'm gonna hide that. And then we'll go over to here, our science library. Probably have to dig a little deep, but let's see if we can actually end up with some data. Images, that is. These are the ones, these aren't the ones that I'm looking for. I'm looking for the ones. Hmm. Oh, I know what to do, I think. I think if I go to Curiosity rover, images, I think that gets you to a different place. Oh, yeah, here we go. If you don't know about this site, this is awesome too, right? They've got all these cameras on Curiosity. Front has cam, the rear has cam, the navigation cameras, both sides. There's the cam, there's Marty, there's Molly, and there's the mass cam. The mass cam is the big one. And these are done by date, by Martian date. This is the number of Martian days since Curiosity landed, I believe. And so you can select any of these. Large collection, 109. So we just go there. Yeah, you can, and you know, this data is a lot like the iris data looking at the sun. It's really new, right? This is from the 26th at 1600 UTC. Anything about it? Speed of light is an issue if you don't want to rebound. Okay, yeah. More concerned keeping the spread minimal. Okay, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Presentation to. I'm just. I'm reading the comments here, so I'm mumbling along. Cool. I'm glad. I'm glad we're having a nice conversation over there. I will try to keep up. Everything that came down during this time period, and these are all images from the ground. Oh, you can get full resolution ones here, I think. All right. Brain musings, yes. So there it is. Just fabulous. Yeah, so here's a few other ones. I think these are just color versions of the ones above, if I remember right. But yeah, these are very awesome. Make sure to check those out too if you haven't already. This is a place where you could literally just spend hours and hours and hours on this stuff. Cool thing is that this is data too, science data. So it just isn't for sort of show and tell and looking. There's some really useful information in all of this? Well, it just depends on how you look at it. I heard that China wants to build the largest steerable radio dish. Did you guys hear about that? Saw something about it. So there it is. There is Mars, and I'll put a link to that in the description after this is done. Yeah, yeah. Uh, China's going to be doing more and more and more just because there's just so many more of them to do things. So yeah, yeah. I hope uh, I hope we can all share and get on the same train together. I think it'll be uh, a lot easier, maybe even a lot faster, and definitely a lot funner to all be in this together. And yeah, stop competing so much. That's yeah, it offers an incentive, but there are lots of ways to do incentives for sure. All right, I'm gonna get back on here. Stop sharing. There it is. There it is. Yeah, yeah. I think they're going to do that really, really well. And I, for one, I want to welcome them, as friends, and I hope they do exactly the same because we're all on the same boat, and uh, uh, there are much better ways than you know um, competing in a mean way and trying to knock each other out. That's silly and boring. And there are so many more exciting things to be doing than worrying about that kind of stuff. We've we've got we have the potential of really doing some amazing things, and it as I said, it'll be so much funner if we can all do it together. Um, it'll also cost a little bit less, maybe. Maybe it'll get done faster. Um, there are smart people everywhere, so um, figuring out new answers to things. Um, and yeah, I mean, it's a numbers game. There are many more of them than there are of us. So it's just a numbers game. So let's put our heads together, get on the same train, and and go. And there's no limits, no limits. Yeah, I think paranoia. I don't think that I don't think that it's going to take everybody to realize that. I think there's a tipping point, and um, um, I do think that a lot of people just want to follow, and I don't see anything wrong with that at all. If you're happy and having fun and want to follow, hey, cool. So I don't think it has to be a huge number. I think it just needs to be enough. And what enough is, don't know yet. But I'm hoping that we're getting pretty close. Pretty close. Yeah, perhaps you're right, but I think we're, you know, if you just look at history, we're we continue on this exponential curve, um, and that's how the universe operates. It's an exponential thing. It isn't a geometrical thing. And so this builds on that, which built on that, which built on that, and that's exponential growth. Um, so yeah, I think things are going to be continue to accelerate, and a lot of times that those kinds of things can lead to mass extinctions, reset, right? It's a reset, and exponential functions need that from time to time, perhaps. Um, but maybe we can be intelligent enough to say, okay, enough for now. Let's just sort of enjoy what we have. Quit accelerating. I don't know. Um, there's also the possibility of just continuing accelerating, and incredible possibilities, I suppose. Hmm. Well, I think you may be right, Paranor. I think you may be right, but yeah, whatever it is, let's just make this ride fun. That's that's sort of what I've determined, that let's just make it fun. Yeah, yeah, and evolution is a process fractal. So it's the outputs just feed back into the inputs, and it just goes around and around and around. Trying trying to beat um, entropy. Yeah. All right. Well, cool. I think that I'm going to call it for the evening. This is a daily show, so that's one of the cool things. Um, is that I can there's no stress here. There's no I don't have to feel as though I have to pack in certain things. Really have any kind of a plan at all. Always got astronomical things to talk about, so no worries there. Um, I like to talk at every level, every single one. So coming in here new. Um, there's a lot of things to learn and talk about there. If you're coming in as a pro, um, let's get into the work and um, see what's going on. One of the things that I definitely want to cover in this show is what do astronomers do? What do the pros do? They go into the office and what do they do? Well, uh, I I know about those kinds of things from witnessing it and doing it myself. So yeah, maybe to some people that's sort of a mystery, um, but really is no mystery at all. It's just passionate work, very passionate, intense work with some really smart people. Smart people. Lucky, very lucky to have been surrounded by the people that I've been around, and hopefully will continue to be around. This coffee mug is never empty, ever. Oh, you don't have a blue box? Dude, dude, you got to get yourself a blue box. Yeah. I've got to I got to find mine. I put it somewhere. I'm going to have to find it though. But yeah, find your blue box. I'll try to find mine. And hey, in a little less than 23 hours, uh, let's get together again and you know, talk astronomy for a while. Just relax, casual. Um, hopefully, fun and educational as well. But just a nice time, a circle of friends gathering together. It's amazing, that we can do this. It's mind blowing that we can do this. So let's keep doing it. Let's keep doing it for sure. Oh, do you have the Paranor? Do you have the old Doctor Who or the new Doctor Who? If it's the old one, I personally applaud you. If it's the new one, I guess I'm one of those. I haven't been incredibly impressed with any of the new Doctor Who. Um, I probably haven't given it a fair shot. Probably not. The few that I've seen, um, they've all been Earth centric, modern, eh, mostly modern era. So same time, same place as here uh, shows, and I haven't been impressed. So yeah, maybe I need to give that more of a shot. But oh, so you've got all 37 years. That's very cool. Yeah. I like the early ones. I like the early ones a lot, because they go all over the place. And but yeah, the new ones I haven't been impressed. Um, liked Torchwood a little bit, so that was interesting. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. I've got big respect for your time and your attention, so I appreciate it. We're going to be doing it again tomorrow and the next day and the day after. Actually, this coming Friday evening where I am. So that's, ooh, let me see. I'm going to pull up a calendar here. Um, so that would be 2 hours UTC on the 3rd of February. Um, that show I am not going to be around. I'm going to my art show. Submitted some pieces of art to the University of Arizona um, Lunar and Planetary Lab. Are having a art show next weekend with a bunch of pieces. They really didn't turn anybody down, so I can't be too proud. Yeah, they pretty much accepted everybody's. But it'll be interesting. I hope they like the pieces that I sent in. Hope everybody gets a good look at them. And anyway, I'm gonna scram. Thanks for stepping in to the circle. As I said, this I'm considering this a circle of friends, and it's amazing, to have these kinds of friends. This is a different kind of friendship, and it's new, and could be interesting. But I'm gonna let you go, and I will see you all tomorrow. Um, yeah, same time, 2 hours UTC every single day, same place, Cosmic Lettuce. You can just call me Cosmic. That's extremely easy. Hopefully easy to remember. Um, and yeah, I'll see you next time. See you in about the lesson 23. Okay, peace out.